Have you ever wondered if your eyesight is really failing, or if it's simply starving? Think about it. For most of human history, we spent our days outdoors, tracking movement in the distance, reading subtle changes in light, scanning horizons. Today, we stare at glowing rectangles 2 feet from our faces for 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours a day. And then one day we're told, you just need stronger glasses. But what if the problem isn't just age? What if it's energy? Today we're going to talk about how to restore eyesight naturally, not with wishful thinking, not with gimmicks, but by understanding what actually drives visual decline. We'll cover blurry vision, screen strain, dry eyes, increased eye pressure, cataracts, macular degeneration, and even floaters. And it all starts in one place most people never hear about: your mitochondria. Let's simplify the anatomy for a moment. Light enters through the cornea, passes through the lens, and lands on the retina, the thin layer of tissue lining the back of your eye. Think of the retina like wallpaper inside the eyeball. It is living neural tissue, richly supplied with blood vessels and directly connected to your brain through the optic nerve. At the very center of that retina is a tiny region called the macula. And inside the macula is an even smaller point called the fovea, about the size of a grain of sand. That tiny area is responsible for your sharpest, most detailed vision. Every word you read, every face you recognize, every fine line you notice, those signals are processed through that microscopic region. And inside that area live specialized cells called cones. Cones allow you to see color, fine detail, and daylight clarity. They are precision instruments. They do not simply detect light. They translate it into electrical signals with extraordinary accuracy. Here's what makes them extraordinary. They contain the highest density of mitochondria of anywhere in the retina. That means they are among the most energy-demanding cells in your entire body. Mitochondria are the energy factories of your cells. They produce ATP, the energy currency required for function. Without ATP, cells cannot maintain electrical gradients, recycle photopigments, or transmit signals to the brain. Seeing requires energy, lots of it. Contrast sensitivity weakens because the retina struggles to distinguish subtle differences in light intensity. Photons are converted into electrical impulses. Ion channels open and close. Signals travel through multiple retinal layers before reaching the optic nerve. This entire process is energy intensive. As we age, mitochondrial density declines. Oxidative stress accumulates. Blood flow can decrease. And the efficiency of ATP production slowly falls. Night driving becomes harder because low-light vision requires even more efficient signal amplification. You need more light to read because the retina cannot process dim signals as effectively. Glare increases because damaged or energy-deficient cells cannot regulate light exposure as precisely. Colors dull because cone responsiveness declines. And eventually, you're handed stronger lenses, not because your eyes are broken, but because their energy system is underperforming. By age 60, the average person needs roughly 3 times more light to see clearly than they did at 20. That's not random. That's cellular energy loss. Now here's where it gets fascinating. If mitochondrial decline is part of the root problem, then the next logical question becomes, can we stimulate those mitochondria back into better performance? There is growing research on a specific wavelength of red light, around 670 nanometers, that appears to stimulate mitochondrial efficiency in retinal cells. This process is called photobiomodulation. Inside the mitochondria is an enzyme complex called cytochrome C oxidase. Certain wavelengths of red and near-infrared light appear to interact with this complex, improving electron transport and increasing ATP output. In simple terms, certain wavelengths of red light help mitochondria produce energy more efficiently. In some studies, short exposure, just a few minutes in the morning, produced measurable improvements in contrast sensitivity lasting up to a week. Participants reported sharper perception of edges and improved ability to distinguish subtle light differences. That suggests not structural rebuilding, but functional enhancement. If you explore this, safety matters. Use devices designed for low-risk exposure. Keep eyes closed. Infrared penetrates through the eyelids effectively, so there's no need to stare directly at a light source. And remember, this is supportive therapy, not reckless experimentation. But red light alone isn't the whole answer. You must support mitochondrial health systemically. Your body can create new mitochondria through a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. This is not theory. It's an adaptive response. When cells experience metabolic stress in a healthy way, they respond by building more energy factories. How? Exercise, especially aerobic movement that increases oxygen demand. Brisk walking, hiking, cycling. When muscles require more oxygen, signaling pathways activate genes that promote mitochondrial growth, not just in muscle, but systemically. Fasting also stimulates mitochondrial repair and renewal by activating AMPK and other cellular repair pathways. Intermittent fasting helps shift metabolism away from constant glucose dependence and toward metabolic flexibility, meaning your body becomes more efficient at switching between fuel sources. And here's something critical. High blood sugar damages retinal tissue. Excess glucose increases oxidative stress, inflames small blood vessels, and disrupts the delicate microcirculation that feeds retinal cells. Diabetes is one of the leading causes of blindness worldwide because excess glucose damages the delicate vessels feeding the retina. Lower blood sugar. Lower inflammation. Protect mitochondria. Low-carb nutrition, stable insulin levels, regular movement, and consistent sleep are foundational for visual resilience. Now let's address something modern life has normalized. Staring at screens. When you focus on an object 2 feet away for hours, tiny muscles controlling your lens stay contracted. Over time, they become locked in that position. This is called accommodation spasm. It's not degeneration, it's muscular fatigue. When you stand up and try to look across the room, everything feels blurry. You haven't ruined your eyes. You've trained them into a cramped position. The fix is surprisingly simple. Spend at least 2 hours daily looking into the distance. Not scrolling outside. Actually focusing on distant objects. Trees, clouds, buildings, moving objects. This retrains your focusing system and relaxes those tiny ciliary muscles. And while working at a desk, follow the 20-20-20 rule. Every 20 minutes, look 20 feet away for 20 seconds. And blink. Fully blink. Reduced blinking during screen use is a primary cause of dry eye because incomplete blinking prevents proper tear film distribution. Dry eye isn't just about environment. Vitamin A deficiency reduces tear production by impairing epithelial health and mucus layer stability. But so does dysfunction in the autonomic nervous system. Vitamin B1, thiamine deficiency, can impair autonomic control of tear glands, reducing secretion. High sugar intake, heavy caffeine consumption, chronic stress, and poor diet can deplete B1 over time. Restore nutritional balance. Improve tear stability. Vitamin A, B1, and omega-3 fatty acids help stabilize the tear film and reduce inflammation. Cataracts form when proteins in the lens become damaged and cloudy. One major driver is glycation, when sugar binds to proteins. This creates advanced glycation end products, AGs, which stiffen and damage tissue. Over time, the once flexible lens becomes rigid and opaque. Lowering carbohydrate intake reduces glycation. Fasting increases autophagy, your body's cleanup process, helping remove damaged proteins. There is also research on N-acetylcarnosine eye drops for cataract support, as well as systemic carnosine and alpha-lipoic acid for glycation control. But prevention is always more powerful than repair. Stabilize blood sugar. Reduce refined carbohydrates. Protect your lens early. The macula is especially vulnerable to oxidative stress because of its high metabolic demand. 2 nutrients stand out: lutein and zeaxanthin. These carotenoids accumulate in retinal tissue and act like internal blue light filters, absorbing excess light energy before it damages photoreceptors. They're found in kale, Swiss chard, pistachios, and egg yolks. Interestingly, lutein from egg yolks is more bioavailable because the fat improves absorption and transport to retinal tissue. Saffron has also shown promise in supporting macular function, possibly through antioxidant and mitochondrial supportive pathways. Inflammation control is critical here. Vitamin D plays a powerful anti-inflammatory role and may support retinal resilience by modulating immune signaling in ocular tissues. Floaters are often fragments of collagen or damaged proteins suspended in the vitreous gel. Extended fasting, 48 to 72 hours occasionally, can stimulate deeper autophagy and may help clear damaged protein debris over time by activating cellular recycling mechanisms. This isn't immediate, but it's physiological. Eye pressure and circulation are also important. Elevated intraocular pressure, associated with glaucoma, has been linked to vascular regulation, oxidative stress, and inflammatory factors that influence fluid dynamics within the eye. Supporting circulation, reducing inflammation, and improving mitochondrial efficiency may indirectly support healthier pressure balance over time. Some emerging discussions explore higher vitamin D levels, with proper magnesium and K2 balance, in relation to eye pressure regulation. Niacin has also been investigated for vascular support. Always monitor levels. Always work with professional guidance. There's another overlooked tool. Morning light exposure. Watching the sunrise, or simply being outdoors early in the day, helps reset circadian rhythm. It also stimulates natural melatonin production later in the evening. Melatonin isn't just for sleep. It's a potent intracellular antioxidant that protects mitochondrial function. Sunlight in the morning supports your eyes indirectly by supporting systemic rhythm. Use proper lighting when reading. Warm LED light between 3000 Kelvin and 4000 Kelvin directed at the page, not your eyes. Avoid dim straining. Hydrate adequately. Sleep deeply. Exercise consistently. Eat nutrient-dense foods rich in vitamin A, D, K2, omega-3 fatty acids, lutein, zeaxanthin, and choline. And most importantly, reduce sugar. Because sugar quietly damages the very tissues responsible for sight. Your eyes are not isolated organs. They are extensions of your brain. They are metabolically active. They are energy dependent. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time, when blood sugar spikes, retinal vessels suffer. When muscles stay contracted, focus blurs. When nutrients drop, tissue resilience weakens. But when you restore energy, reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and retrain focus, vision can improve. Not magically, but biologically. You may not throw away your glasses overnight, but you can stop accelerating decline. And in many cases, you can regain clarity you thought was permanently lost.